Hey, what's going on with you guys, man? We're gonna get straight into it. I'm gonna recap this Caleb Plant versus Canelo Alvarez fight. It was a good fight. I'm not gonna say great or anything like that. It wasn't one of the most exciting fights of the year or anything like that, but it was a pretty good fight. Caleb Plant put up a hell of a fight versus Canelo. I honestly thought, like, before the fight even got started, I thought I mean, not Canelo, excuse me. I thought Caleb Plant wouldn't get more than, I say, 2 to 3 rounds. And going into the 11th round before the knockout, I actually had the fight as a draw. Let me get my phone. Actually, I'm gonna tell you guys what rounds. I'm gonna tell you what rounds I gave. What rounds I gave Caleb Plant. What rounds I gave Canelo. And it's crazy. I just finished watching it for the second time, and my scorecard changed a little bit. It was like 2 rounds, I think, that I switched around, but I still ended up with a draw. So, let me get into it, right? So I'm gonna tell you my score right now. I got it, of course, 95-95, right? Fight got stopped in the 11th. But I had Caleb Plant round one. I felt like I don't remember all the rounds off the top of my head. But I had Caleb Plant round one for sure. I just remember Canelo wasn't really too active. Caleb was letting his hands go. And you could really tell that was a fail out round for Canelo. That wasn't a round that he really wanted to up the tempo. Yeah, he just wanted to see what Caleb Plant had. Round two gave that to Canelo. Edged that out to him. Round three I gave to Caleb Plant. Now I'm gonna tell you, this is these. That's one of the rounds I kind of switched up, right? So this is my original scorecard. Initially, I gave Canelo round two, but when I went back and watched it again, I gave Caleb Plant the first 3 rounds. Then 4, 5, 6 I gave to Canelo, and then this is the round. I can't remember if it was the seventh round. It might have been the seventh or eighth round. That's one of the rounds that I switched out. Where I end up having Canelo win because I gave Caleb Plant 7, 8, and 9. I think on my new scorecard, I didn't really. I was doing this more so off the top of my head. I think I gave Canelo the seventh. So so basically the second and the seventh round was the switch for me. Um, but I gave Caleb Plant 8, 9, and then of course I gave Canelo the 10th. That's when he started putting a little. He started putting. Well, he really started. Yeah, 10th round he started putting his foot on the gas, and then of course in the 11th round he got the stoppage, got him out of here. Now it's a few things I want to talk about right from the fight, and I really want to. And this is really more so a critique towards Caleb Plant. You about to get the glove? Hold on. We getting the glove, man. Live video. Right? We getting up. We getting up live video, man. Just to show you guys an example, right? So this is a one thing I want to talk about. I'm naturally a lefty, so I really can't do the Philly shell. It doesn't feel right to do the Philly shell from the as the orthodox fighter. But one thing I feel like watching this fight, I really feel like Canelo probably should have got Caleb Plant out of there a lot sooner. And I don't know why it took Canelo kind of late to pick this up, right? I mean, he did land this punch. He did land that left hook maybe I say upstairs at least. He landed that left hook upstairs maybe 4 to 5 times, right? Throughout the fight. Of course, the one in the 11th round is the one that really hurt Caleb Plant. But what I want to say is Caleb Plant. This is what he kept doing, right? So he would come in that Philly shell, you know, have you know how you got the guard up like that. You come with the Philly shell like that, right? Let me switch it to this hand because this is the natural, right? So you got the Philly shell. Caleb Plant kept putting his glove low, like so he was leaving this whole side exposed, the upper top of his head, right? He was leaving way too much. He had his chin checked, right? So Canelo wasn't gonna land anything clean on chin, but he's leaving that temple exposed and everything like that, right? I don't understand why he didn't just leave it up a little higher. Maybe he felt like it will blind. Maybe he felt like it will blind him a little bit more. But the point is, you just didn't want to leave you didn't want to leave your temple exposed too long against a guy like Canelo, and unfortunately, he ended up paying for it. But I like a few things he did out of it. It definitely gave Canelo a little bit of trouble. A lot of the punches people, and this is what I'm seeing, right? So there's some people that's basically saying Caleb Plant didn't win more than 2 rounds, maybe three max. But if you really watch this fight, a lot of punches that Canelo was throwing wasn't landed. A lot of those was being blocked and partially blocked. So I wasn't really scoring those as landed punches, which a lot of people were doing. They were just looking at, oh, Canelo's throwing the more he's throwing the more power punches. He's throwing the heavier shots. But if it's not landing, I'm not really counting that, right? So I think a lot of people, more so casual fans, and maybe there was a few. I see a few diehard guys and diehard boxer fans that I guess were pretty much scoring those as scoring shots for Canelo when I wasn't, right. But where I was going with that, right? Oh yeah, I was saying out the Philly shot. I like how a few times Caleb Plant, like he would have his he would come out in that Philly shell, and he'll be able to he mostly did this when he was against the ropes, right? Come out, Canelo would throw a shot, kind of duck down a little bit, kind of threw a shoulder into it, and then came back with the straight right. I'm a lefty, so I'm doing it from the opposite way. But he came back with the straight left. But the biggest problem I think with Caleb Plant in this fight was he refused to sit down on his punches. Now I understand why one wouldn't do it, but you can't show that guy. You can't show Canelo that much respect, right? He refused to sit down on his punches. He did. He maybe I can think of maybe 4 times, 5 times, maybe where he stood in front of Canelo and let some combinations go. But he rarely. I got the fight up right now. I'm just watching a little bit while I'm going through this video. But it was a rare occasion for Caleb Plant to just sit down, stay in that throw the 1-2 and throw it with some conviction. Like a lot of his jabs, and I'm understanding why maybe some people those the jabs still count, right? If I land the jab, it still counts. Maybe people were like, I think maybe a lot of people were like he didn't put anything behind it, so we're not we're not really giving too much credit on those punches, right? Though, because they were more so pity pat. But I'm still giving him credit for throwing a nice jab. His jab was pretty educated. He did land it. He did keep Canelo at bay a few times. He did back Canelo up a few times. But the main problem is he never he. It was rare that he put some emphasis on it, basically, right? Like it was rare that he really threw much power. It's rare that he threw much power on it. He was basically just using it to control Canelo a little bit instead of looking for a shot that I guess you could say maybe snap his head back or so, right? And of course, Caleb Plant is not a knockout puncher. He doesn't really have the power. But I don't want to give him the excuse. He just showed Canelo way too much respect. If you guys watched the Mayweather fight, Mayweather did not have the power. Does not have the power, right? He didn't have the power at what was he, 36, 37 years old when he fought Canelo? He didn't have the power to hurt. He didn't have the power to really hurt Canelo, right? But he didn't show Canelo all that respect. He still there was plenty of times when Mayweather stayed in the pocket with Canelo. Now a lot of you people gonna say, "Oh well, Canelo wasn't that good at that time." I'm not giving you guys any excuse. I'm not letting you guys get that excuse off. Um, and the main reason why I'm not doing that is because he still was a champion at that time, right? He was 23, but he still had some quality wins under his belt. It's not like he just fought all bums and then he fought Mayweather, right? Um, but like I said, man, you gotta get Canelo's respect. You can't just give him all the respect in the world. Like even Lara, even for a guy like Lara who basically he moved a lot more. I say he used a lot more lateral movement than Caleb Plant did, right? But even when he did stop, he demanded Canelo's respect, right? How many times did Lara land that 1-2 clean, nice punch? He sat down on those punches. He didn't throw a little flip jab and pity pat jab and then get up out of there. He threw that jab, he threw a hard jab and came over the top with the left hand. Plenty of times he hit Canelo with the 1-2 throughout that fight, right? Um, and the crazy thing about that is, I definitely a lot of people thought that was Canelo's probably, I mean, besides the Triple G fight, his clear robbery. People thought that was a robbery. I thought Canelo won that fight personally, but the point still stands, man. You gotta gain this guy's respect, and you don't have to have all the power in the world. You just have to show him that, yo, I'm gonna keep coming, right? You want to fake. You don't even gotta just stand in the pocket all day. You could just feint him. Canelo. He likes to slip and stuff now. Feint him. You already know what side his head's gonna go to. He's usually gonna slip to the when he was fighting Caleb, he was slipping to the outside most of the time, right? So you already know where he's gonna be at. So and Canelo loves those uppercuts. So I guess he might be a little wary of that. But all you had to do, jab, come down over the top, get your get out the way, man. Get out the way. Move your head off the line, pretty much. And a lot of time we Canelo's a flat-footed fighter, bro. He's a flat-footed fighter for the most part. You can't just let him. You can't just let him just walk you down and back you into a corner all fight, bro. And that's pretty much what he did. And even after saying all that, like I said, I still had it as a draw up until round 11. And then you guys saw what happened around 11. That hook. Where's my glove? Did I just put my glove at? Oh, I threw it back over here. It doesn't even matter. He still, when he had his glove up, he wasn't really protecting most of his face. He was mainly just protecting his chin when he had his glove up. He had it a little higher. That shot probably doesn't damage him as much. And of course, he's wearing down, so that's definitely a time where you want to have your guard up a little bit higher, right? But he got caught with a shot. Canelo ends up stopping him. I did think the stoppage was a little quick. I did think he deserved a 10 count, bro. That was. It's not like I can understand when he dropped him. Caleb Plant was just laid out dead on the floor like this, closed, eyes closed, couldn't move or anything like that, right? But he still had his senses about him, and I kind of want to fast forward right quick because I just want to see that a little bit, right? Because hold on. Look, I'm looking at it right now. The second one, he laid out and then he immediately got up. He immediately started. He rolled over, um, and the judge stopped the fight. So I would have liked it just because it was a championship fight. Now I can understand. The ref probably saved it because at that point, Caleb Plant, he already got dropped twice in that round, and he didn't have the power to hurt Canelo, right? So the fight was practically over. But I still thought, should have let him get one more chance to get up on the 10 count. Probably get his senses together a little bit, and then try to survive maybe. But I mean, it was probably likely Canelo was gonna stop him anyway, so they saved him from himself. Even if they would have given him the 10 count, but I still just thought they should have gave him the count, right? Just out of respect. But with all that being said, like I said, I like that fight. Canelo's looking to come back in May, if I'm not mistaken. Here is reported he's supposed to come back in May or something like that. So we'll see what happens. They're probably gonna look to get Charlo in there. I saw Charlo talking a lot of junk saying at the weigh-in, pretty much saying it's gonna be way like when he gets his chance with Canelo, it's gonna be way better than this. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe he moves up to 175. Fights better Biev or Bivo. We don't know yet. We don't know. We gotta see. But I would love to know what you guys thought about the fight. But you guys how you guys had it scored, man? How many rounds did you give Caleb Plant, and how many rounds you gave Canelo, man? And do you think this fight could possibly be worth a rematch? Right? Could this be a fight with a rematch? I mean, it's an undisputed fight. I don't think Canelo gives him a rematch here. It's really no point. Um, but still, good fight all around. Canelo got his 40 million. Caleb Plant got his 10 million. Got the bag. We'll see what the pay per view numbers look like. Probably in like a 2 to 3 days, they'll probably be released. So, that being said, man, I'm heading up out here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. I'm out of here, man. Peace.